So doors open, door closed. What's your preference?
It's up to you. But hey, watch this.
Yeah,
my door is closing.
Yeah, I wish I had a brake pedal yet.
The second I step on the brake pedal, my door closes. Yes. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love this experience. It's this seamless experience. You know, like seamless is not only about shape; it's about the whole experience. How you connect to your car, how the car interacts with you. It's this weightless, let's say, experience, because everything just works perfectly fine.
Before we dive in, who are you?
My name is Sylvain Wehnert, and I'm the Vice President Design, Research and Development North America, as well as the head of the design studio in Carlsbad, the design studio down there in California.
You know, we could probably open the door a little bit to get some fresh air in.
Definitely.
And so this, from my understanding, this is kind of your baby for a while now, starting with the F015.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically all of everybody. It's the baby of everyone. But I had the great pleasure to be part of the first steps into what we call progressive luxury, our design language, progressive luxury, that defines the EQ experience. And one of the starting points basically back in 2013 was the creation phase of the F015. And I had the great joy as a young designer being responsible for the exterior design of that car. And and there we really challenged ourselves with the question, how could luxury electric mobility in the future look like? And really try to redefine the perception of a luxury EV limousine. And the way we did it is basically we really started with a platform, electric platform, 4 wheels, and then we created something on top of it that really is using or taking advantage of all the opportunities you've got with the freedom of an electric platform. Really creating this large interior space by reducing the hood and really creating this one bow design that is ending up in like the most iconic shape, as well as the most beautiful sculpture that we could think of.
What did all that allow you to bring into the interior of the car?
Yeah, so
more importantly up here, and then we'll jump back in a second and see what it's like back there.
So basically, as I said, we wanted to give this space back to the customer that was traditionally occupied by the ICE engine and the transmission tunnel. And what you can see in the interior here is, first of all, the A-posts, they go very far forward. That gives you this super spacious feel towards the front. It's super airy, and you've got this, this wide view towards the front. Coming with that, basically, we were able to lean the whole dashboard forward, and this gave us the space to install this beautiful hyperscreen. One of our the key aspects of this interior here, this beautiful floating sculpture that you can see. It's even illuminated from the back to really give it this airy, this lightweight feeling.
Now, check this out for a second, Sylvain.
Yeah.
So when it's open, you still see the entire display.
Yes.
And then when you close the door, it integrates with the panel.
Exactly. It goes behind, because of course we didn't want to harm this beautiful shape. So this is also supporting this idea of this is one sculpture. This is untouched. This is basically and it's kind of like even staged through this floating center console. So this gives basically the foundation for this hyperscreen to float on top of. And the reason why we did basically also this floating center console is, of course, we wanted to create something that at the same time caters to the fact that you can remove the objects in an EV to the degree where you want it, because you've got the freedom, but at the same time you want to have this embracing feeling, and you want to have some kind of comfort that you could put your arm onto. You've got some storage space. So to find the right balance here, we created this floating center console but we wanted to make it as lightweight, as airy as possible. So we have the space underneath, some storage space, and you get something that you just only can get in an electric vehicle. So talking about this embracing feeling, you also see the dashboard as is seamlessly continuing into the doors, and it's really creating this ring around you. And as you turn on the car, okay, right now it's not, let me quickly jump into the functionalities, because I think, see, not all the functions are, okay. I mean, you'll talk a little bit more about all the illumination later, with Stefan as well. So you've got also this integrated light band here that can change with the temperature, and you can change the colors and the whole experience on the interior.
Is that what the lighting?
The lighting. Yes, lights. No, that's the light.
Oh, that's the
interior
outside.
lighting. There we go. But ambient lighting here. But these are the settings. So there we go. Very well. See, you're coming prepared. That's good. So basically, and you've got this energizing comfort, all these things that you will go through.
Look at that.
So these are elements. I don't want to dive into that too much because that's not my field of expertise. You'll learn much more about it with Stefan in a moment. But this is basically also supporting this embracing feeling that you've got in the interior, but not embracing in a like an enclosing way, and that it's like giving you this tight feeling. But as it's leaning forward, it's this friendly embracing, but gives you the space that you need and that you want to have in the interior. And all of these aspects contribute to this luxury S-Class feeling that we want to create in this interior. Yeah, and then a lot of like these details, these precious details that we paid focus on. First of all, the seamless integration of the air vents here in this gap, which is again supporting this floating aspect of the hyperscreen, as well as it's introducing this beautiful rose gold trim piece that goes all the way, like from left to right, all the way around you, and diving in behind the hyperscreen. And then in contrast to that, we've got these hyper analog elements, as we call them, as a contrast to the digital world that you've got on the hyperscreen. These turbine-inspired air vents on the outsides of the car, and this is the contrast that we always talk about. Also talking about the materials, you always will see a contrast in every color and trim setup that you find like cool elements and warm elements. So what we've got here is we've got the top of the car in this cool bluish tint, in this what do you call it? Like this, it's some kind of like a reflecting color as well. It's changing a little bit the color, and then as a contrast to it, you've got the warm colors at the bottom, and the wood, the yacht inspired wood trim here. And you could also flip it around. You could have the cooler elements here, like a darker trim piece, like more grayish or black and anthracite, but then you would have like the warmer elements at the top. So this is the contrast that we always talk about: hot and cool, sensual and pure. Yeah. So in a nutshell, that's let's say the most essential aspects of the interior. And I would say I would hand you or give you over into the hands of my colleague Stefan, and he's gonna give you an insight of all the functionality.
Before we do that, can you talk about the version that doesn't have the hyperscreen? What was some thinking behind the inlays, and how did you accommodate for someone who doesn't want all this? Yeah,
so of course there will be also customers who want to have more this experience of natural materials and not too much of the digital world.
Right.
And so for these customers, we reduced the amount of digital or screen space that you've got, and we've got this waterfall portrait format center console, floating center console, as you know it from the S-Class as well. But you would have still the shape of the hyperscreen in this area as equipped.
So that doesn't go away. You still get that central feeling that you're in.
Yes. So the shape is staying. but you've got different different kinds of materials. So you would have the hyperscreen in the center, and you would have the trim piece on the side. And it's actually also very nice because you've got this big, spacious field of like beautiful materials, and there are a lot of like more techy materials or more traditional materials as like wood, different types of wood. It's also, I love that version as well. Yeah.
I know you're going to hand me off later in a second here, but it is, in fact, has the one bow design, so we have to see the back. Should we jump in the back really quick and see how it feels?
It actually is, even though this car from side view looks super flat and sleek and stretched and sporty, coupe-like, if you sit back here, you have the feeling of an actual luxury limousine.
How tall are you again?
I'm not very good with the American way. I'm like 83 centimeters tall.
So you're about my height.
Yeah.
So there's I'm 6'2".
Yeah.
There's definitely adequate headroom back here.
Yeah.
So even if I move around,
I mean, I never had the experience to really hit something or anything. It's this spacious feeling that you want, and especially looking towards the front, like with the A-posts very far forward, and this whole space that is opening in front of you.
It stretches out.
Exactly. It just gives you this limousine premium and luxury feeling that you want to have. That's actually a nice feature. It's the executive seat.
Ah, right.
And you've got an additional feature
tablet
here. You've got the tablet. This is actually connected to your screens that you've got on the. Oh, wait a second. I need to turn on the ignition.
This is for your phone. Oh, I just realized the ignition button is now
in the center.
In the center.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a really
It's
good
nicely
point.
integrated in the center. We didn't want to interrupt the hyperscreen to any detail.
That's a
but
very
we
good
still
point.
have
Very good point.
So you've got your screen here in front of you. So every passenger has a screen. Everybody has its own profile. You can log in here. You can decide whether the tablet is connected with the right screen or the left screen. You can take that out, use it to the way you want it. You can share content with the other people in the car. So basically you have all the functionalities that you want in such a car.
Right.
And I mean, you'll get a little bit more insights also about the functionality of the seats. This is the executive seat, where you've got all the massage function, all the relaxation, all the separate adjustments that you want to have basically.
This is, I mean, just sitting here and looking forward, cabin forward, you can see how dynamic the design elements. It's like it's pushing the car forward.
Yeah.
With that little bit of an angle, because normally you would get this line wrapping all the way around to the A-pillar.
Yes.
But instead, you've got a little bit of direction changes.
We wanted to do that basically to really give this embracing feeling on every seat where you're sitting, basically. And we wanted to emphasize it in front. That's why it's dropping down to the sides, and you've got more like this wave that is going.
Exactly.
Yeah, both lines are having this dynamic feel.
I mean, and I'm very delighted with that because it contrasts what we're going to see on the outside.
Yes, exactly. So, of course, the inside and the outside you always need to treat separately because the experience is completely different.
But there are still elements that connect the interior from the exterior.
It needs to work with each other, and I guess it does, and also the belt line. I mean, it's creating a really nice harmony together, especially when you stand outside and you see how the dashboard is rising from the belt line to create this nice landscape in the front. I mean, that's something like one of my favorite feelings when you look at the front doors. You've got this nice shoulder that is coming on coming from the outside, and it's almost continuing into the dashboard. And that's where exterior and interior intertwines and connects perfectly.
Now that we're in the car, and we'll talk about this outside later, but the shoulder.
Yes.
So you had to raise the height a little bit.
Exactly. So what we did is basically we wanted to create, even though it's a limousine, we wanted to create the most sporty exterior that we could think of. The strongest impression, and especially looking at the rear, basically what makes a Mercedes look are these beautiful strong shoulders on both sides of the car. And in order to achieve that, we wanted to give these shoulders enough space to breathe, to live. And in order to achieve that, basically, we took the belt line and we gave it a beautiful wave line, very sensual, just raising a little bit towards the rear.
And narrowing the glass gives you that sensation of being in a sportier vehicle, if you will.
Yes. I mean, this car, it is a very, very big car, but we didn't want to emphasize this. The dimensions of the car in terms of height.
Right.
Of course, you always want to make it as sleek as possible.
Right.
And by using these design elements, the one bow design, the very long DLO, and also this wave belt line that just tapers the DLO nicely towards the back. With all these elements, you really get this feeling of, hey, this is actually a super nice and sleek and long stretched car. And you're surprised once you step in that you say, I've got this height above me and I'm sitting on top of batteries. It's like this, like this it looks bigger from the inside than it does from the outside.
Right.
And that's what we wanted to achieve.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much for that walkthrough.
You're very welcome.
Shall we?
Yes. I mean, you can still stay. I mean,
I want to move up front.
I know you like to be in the car. So.
I like both positions.